Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about the Umbrella Academy Season 1, Episode 10. It's called The White Violin. It is the season finale, of course, so full spoilers for the episode, as always. So what's interesting about this is that it's been a week since we recorded the last review, because Carl was on vacation for a week, and we recorded so many back-to-back so that we could have them going up consistently. So for you, nothing weird has happened. This is just every other day. This is going to be in same amount of time as the last
But
9.
for us, there was give or take an entire week
Yes.
between episodes 9 and 10.
Yes, we couldn't quite get to the last one before Connor had to leave.
Frustrated. We tried.
Yes, so, but here we are. Here we are at the finale, and that's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it is.
It's a hell of a cliffhanger. Just, oh dear. So, mostly enjoyed this.
I agree.
Mostly enjoyed this. I do have some critiques, again, of Vanya specifically.
That's fair.
Which are nitpick. Some are nitpicky, and then there's one big thing, I think, for me with Vanya in this episode, is that at the end of the last one, I was kind of complaining that it kind of seemed like she was possessed almost, like there was almost an alternate personality. And in this one, it doesn't necessarily go down that route. I don't necessarily get that vibe, perhaps.
No, it didn't really play up that angle.
The problem is, though, is that she's so full-on evil now that it's hard to sympathise with her. She kills Pogo. She impales him on the deer head, the antlers.
That poor chimp bastard. I've been dreading this moment because it was one that I knew was coming. I was like, oh, not Pogo. Every time.
And I like, how am I supposed to be rooting for her to be saved? If anything, I was rooting for them to kill her at the final scene, because you kill Pogo. It's like,
yeah,
there's the hope for you. It's not even like you're accidentally flaring up now. It's a very like intentional scene where she makes him admit.
Did you know?
Yeah, she makes him admit that he knew, and then he agrees kind of reluctantly, and then she just kills him. It is outright cold-blooded murder, and it's like, well. And then later on, she's like flipping a car because some guy calls her a bitch, and he's like, "Well, he's dead." And, like, you know,
yeah.
There's death left and right. She's walking through the world just killing people, and I'm like, all right, well, you're going to have to really sell me next season. If you're going to want me to be rooting for her next year, you're going to have to sell me on it. She's going to have some sort of redemption. That,
Yeah, it's not impossible. We've seen it done on shows with fantastic writing, admittedly.
Yeah.
But I mean, this show's had pretty solid writing, so I'm not willing to write it off.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no.
But it is a big ask.
Yeah. Best line of the episode is when the soldier dudes in the red mask, presumably sent by the commission, show up at the bowling alley to kill everyone. Klaus says, maybe they're here for Kenny's birthday. Which is a random kid that's having a birthday, whose mother was the woman on the bus with Klaus like 5 episodes ago.
Yeah.
In fact, someone on Twitter pointed out earlier on that she was also in the bank scene in the flashback.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, which was a while ago now, you know, in terms of time. So something fishy is going on with this woman.
Okay.
Something fishy. She's key to everything.
Yeah. I agree that was the best line, though, because that cracked me up.
Yeah. There was 2 moments that I really laughed in this episode. It was that, and also when Klaus, also at the bowling alley, just shouts out, "Hey Luther, I liked you better before you got laid." And then just Alison, like, she can't speak obviously, she's just looking at him, and Luther's like, and then Klaus realizes what he's done, and he's like, "Well, I mean, to be fair, he was like drunk and high, like, like, and, you know," he's trying. And Luther's like, "Shut up, Klaus."
Oh, I love Klaus.
And this is the thing. I actually think Alison and Luther have really good chemistry, because when he tries to apologise, and then it goes to the scene in the phone booth where he's talking to her daughter for her, and
it's a scene. It's a moment that could be really awkward if the two can't play it well.
But you know, she drops her pad and she can't, and because they're so crammed in, she can't just bend down to pick it up. And
yes, because Luther's a big hulking mass.
Yes, and she starts crying because she can't speak, and he just kind of like, he actually like. You could start this by saying he predicts what she would say, but ultimately what he does is he says to Alison what he wants to say to Alison, but he just also says it to her, and it also works for a mother-daughter relationship. So Alison gets that. It's very teary-eyed, but they have good chemistry, and you know, like, some people don't like Luther, and yeah, Luther is largely to blame for the current predicament. I'm not going to let him off with that. He is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's his fault.
It absolutely is. I realize that people kind of called him out though on this a little bit on this
Yeah.
one. Like Diego's like, all right then, Luther, what's the plan?
We go to the location.
It's like that's a place, not a plan.
Yeah.
It's like, look, you want to be number one? That's fine. We'll get behind you, but you have to get us on the same page.
Honestly, I thought it was building up to a moment where he had said, "Hey, Diego, what's okay? You lead us. What's your plan?" Like I thought that's what it was building up to. Is him realizing
that.
he shouldn't be the leader, but
Yeah,
never did. Not that I necessarily think Diego's the guy they should be trusting to be leader.
no,
either,
I think Luther is ultimately the right call for leader. I think in terms of the way he kind of tries to think about it, he made a wrong call, admittedly, with Vanya, locking Vanya up, but I think generally
Hold on a
speaking,
second. He made a wrong call that led to the apocalypse. Come on, let's not underplay that.
no. He made a wrong call that led to the apocalypse. But fundamentally for this team, I think he is the one that generally speaking is the most screwed on in the sense of for the mission.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the ending of this show, or the story in general, I mean, maybe it's not the ultimate ending, maybe it's the ending of season 2. I think ultimately they eventually undo the apocalypse, because, we end with the apocalypse happening. It happens. Like,
Yeah.
life as we know it is wiped out. Which I actually was also probably the third big laugh I had, is you just, because, they're getting close to Vanya. Vanya's in the orchestra, she's playing, and it's kind of beautiful. And I like the moment before they try to attack, because Alison wants to go in first. She's like, I can just talk to her. I can talk her down. And there's
a moment. Yeah.
There's a moment where Alison's just impressed by her playing, and it's almost like the first time any of her siblings have actually just appreciated the skill she has in the thing she's been passionate about. And Vanya kind of smiles at her, like she kind of responds to it.
There's a moment it's like, oh hey, you came.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And then immediately Luther and Diego ruin it by trying to jump her, and Vanya goes supernova, and they grab her, and Alison ends up behind her. You think is she going to shoot her, and she ends up just shooting next to her ear to obviously with her powers, I imagine that would cause a bit of a blowback. And
I think the idea of the temporary deafness almost, and she uses the sound to focus everything. She can't hear,
so it knocks her out. But as she's going down, she has one final big giant shockwave that hits the moon. It goes through the window and hits the moon.
Of course, it's the moon.
Yeah, Luther's been there. Yeah, I mean the whole thing. It's all connected, and so. Joe, it's funny. I actually have some complaints about the effects in this episode, but not the ending. I think the moon and everything to do with the moon coming down to Earth looks fantastic. However, earlier on when Vanya's tearing apart the mansion, looks pretty rough.
I'll give you that one. Pogo still looked great though.
Pogo still looked good, but everything, like see when the mother was in the window and it was like everything around it, it just looked really bad. It looked really cheap.
No, I agree. I feel like part of the problem might have been that they'd had this set. From earlier in the season, with the apocalypse set of, okay, no, this is how the building has to look when it's destroyed. It's got to be down in this bit. And so when they're CGing it to match that exact shape, it kind of gave them some problems.
Maybe. But yeah, the moon coming down looked great. There's a big chunk of moon that's just coming towards everything. And
then it splits up into the little pieces.
Oh no, the final bit's a big chunk because
the big chunk, right?
Yeah,
okay,
there's a big chunk that finally just hits in the middle, and it's just it's like this red wave of like because the small parts are making like tidal waves and shit like you'd expect, but
but they look good.
Yeah, but the big one just this line of like hell, it just spreads from it like murder, and I just love the visual actually of like someone like the beam going up and just breaking apart the moon, like the moon just takes it and that's it.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, I really like her outfit. When she goes fully, in this sequence at the end, when she goes all, white violin.
I actually liked it before. I like when she was in the black suit.
No, I thought she's rocking the black suit. Don't get me wrong. But given that I mentioned how the actual comics costume would not translate at all, I think this white suit did a really nice job of emulating the feel.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. So we have to talk about the opening scene though. There's a flashback.
Rewind.
We have to rewind. There's a flashback. So it says long ago. The caption comes up saying long ago. However, so this is young Hargraves with his wife, presumably, in the past.
Yeah.
Who has the violin. It's her violin that Vanya has, right? Which is a nice little touch. and there's rockets.
Yeah. Now,
rising around the world. There's like tons of them. It's not just one rocket. There's like just rockets. It's like Terminator 3 when all the nukes are going off. There's just nukes everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So that's halfway, and I'm like, this feels like the future. And then he's like, I'm going to go. And then next time we see him, he's got his luggage and his violin and all that. He's in like too long ago. Like even if he was naturally born in this time period, he would be
it's like 1800s. Right?
Yeah, like turn of the century maybe at the latest, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no way he's still alive come 1989 to collect all these babies. No. So there's time travel shenanigans going on with Hargreaves himself.
Yes.
He buys an umbrella shop, which, hence Umbrella Academy. I presume this is then expanded into the mansion.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what I want to say, based at this point now, that I don't think we've mentioned all season, but I have appreciated how every episode it's come up with the Umbrella Academy on the umbrella.
Oh, yeah.
It's been slick every time, and every time I've gone, yeah, that one worked. And I feel like we've never mentioned it, but it's been a nice stylistic flair that I liked.
So he's buying this, and he's clearly in the past, and clearly, when he leaves his wife, it seems like there's an apocalypse about to happen, and they know there's about to be an apocalypse, and he goes back in time, and ultimately he of course is eventually going to collect the kids. But it does seem to be a different apocalypse than to the one that we currently had. It almost seems like the apocalypse moved forward because of whatever he's done. Because him collecting the kids, leading to this incident with Vanya, is actually sped up when the apocalypse happens. Is that just me?
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So, unless it's meant to just be present day as well, and it just looks different because differences.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. You never know. Timeline, right?
Timeline, yeah. So that's what's making me think, and I was getting all curious, and I'm like, so was he in the commission ever? He did seem to know the apocalypse was coming. We knew that from Klaus and his talk with him.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's going on. Lots of interesting things. All of this setting up stuff, it does feel like stuff to explore in season 2. All this stuff that it's making me think.
It does. It's maybe one of my biggest problems with this episode is that it's like, hey, season 2, right?
Yeah, season 2 is going to be good. This episode's solid. This episode's probably one of the best of the season.
Yeah. Good episode.
They definitely saved some of the bigger effects and visuals and like moments for the finale, which is nice.
Yeah, and to be fair, the show's looked pretty solid throughout.
Yeah, that's definitely had the most effects, though. The whole...
Oh, it had the most effects, yeah. But when it's had them in the rest of the show, it's looked pretty good.
There's been a couple of shaky ones. Pogo's always looked good. There's been a couple of other things that have looked a bit rougher, though.
Yeah, that has been. There's been a couple of instances, but overall, I would say pretty good.
So a couple of character things. Diego doesn't kill Cha-Cha. We'll get to Cha-Cha and Hazel's side of things later, but Klaus. So there's a moment early on where Ben actually saves Diego. He pulls him out from under the rubble as the mansion's falling apart.
I had an interesting thought of this, but it kind of gets undone later on. But in the comics, along with talking to the dead, Klaus has some telekinetic abilities.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I was wondering, is this how they're manifesting that on the show? Like, Ben's not really doing this. It's more just his telekinesis.
Because later on, when so many soldiers, because they're in the theater,
auditorium,
yeah, and Vanya's on stage, she's still playing, but all these more soldiers and soldiers with the red masks are all showing up, and it's getting overwhelming. They're kind of screwed, and Klaus his hands start to light up, and then he just kind of like summons Ben, who then uses his power, his Kraken power, to fight all the soldiers.
Yeah.
And obviously he's bulletproof because he's a ghost. So
yeah, it's cool as shit.
So it is, and everyone sees this. This is the thing, because earlier on he tries to say Ben is the one who saved Diego, and they say he's full of shit. They don't believe him. And then at this point later on, like Allison and Luther, they're all looking at him going like, holy shit, it's Ben.
It's like, how you been, buddy? Dead, but...
It's been 7 weeks since you looked at me. I'm sorry.
You're the worst.
That was a quality joke. Quality.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So there you go. That was those little character pieces. They were really nice. I think all of the main siblings had good moments in this episode. Actually, I think they all had a moment where They did something good. They messed up. They had character progression. They had emotional beats. I think all of them got something. Even Ben, which is nice.
Yeah, no, it's surprising
Yeah.
that even Ben, but it was nice.
And then Hazel and Cha-Cha are told by the handler to work together, and he'll get to retire officially if they just protect Vanya, right? Protect Vanya. And Hazel's like, nah. he lets Cha-Cha unbuckle her seatbelt and then just rams the car into one of the stands or something like that. And
she goes flying.
Which actually really made me laugh just now. Sort of like, that was really over the top, but
It was.
I'll take it. And then later, Cha-Cha just kind of hobbles into the theater
because of course that didn't stop her.
Yeah, of course not. She's Cha-Cha. She takes her job very seriously. Whereas Hazel goes off and kills the handler and gets his missus, and also a time briefcase. They actually time travel before the shockwave hits them. Whereas we see like everyone else gets hit with it. We see the cop from the town. We see various characters. The other cop from Patchy's like colleague. Like he goes like. So we got all that.
I would say this plot is maybe my biggest problem with the season. And individually, in every episode, I have enjoyed all of their scenes.
Yeah, I think once it separated and became more about him wanting to leave, it felt more separate, and because of that, it felt like it was dragging down the episodes a little bit.
It never really came back in together. And again, even that stuff with him wanting to leave, I enjoyed all of that, like on its own, right? But it never fit into any episode.
And here's the thing, though. I'm sure, like we're going to meet them again. Like we're going to see Hazel again next season. We know when he pops up in a different time zone.
Yeah, it's just felt a little bit.
Not
fragmented.
Time period. I shouldn't say time zone, but time zone's a thing.
It is. Yeah, it's felt a bit fragmented this back half of the season with them. Like it felt like almost an obligation to be showing us what they were doing when the show didn't really need it.
Yeah. So just to wrap back around to the end of the episode, they realize that the world's ending, and Five's like, screw it. I'm going to try and time travel all of us with my own natural powers. And they all hold hands. There's a really nice beat here where the camera's spinning around in the 360 where they all turn into the kid versions of themselves. And I don't think it's implying that they're all going to be kids when we see them next season. I think it's more just as they're going through time, there's like a moment.
I like the idea that there's a possibility of it, though. Because, when they're like, oh, what's the worst that can happen? He's like, I mean, look at me. And this is the worst that can happen.
I mean, they might do it if they fix it by like the end of episode 1, but they're not losing the cast. The cast are going to be around.
Probably, yeah.
As funny as it would be to switch to all the kid actors for all the next season.
It would be so fun. I mean, if you get good kid actors.
If you get good actors. Well, I mean, it depends. We don't know how good the kids have not had enough to do to really... I mean, obviously they're better than some because like we just talked about Star Trek Discovery and how the Spock kid actor is just terrible from like 2 lines of dialogue.
So like the Allison and Luther kids seemed pretty decent from what we've seen of them.
Yeah.
They still had some chemistry. Diego was fine.
So we end with them. They teleport out just in the nick of time, and then it just cuts to black. That's it. End of season. Which I appreciate the ballsiness this. They better renew it though, or I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, because there was some conflicting reports this past week while I was away. Because it came out going, oh, it's been renewed, and then the actor who plays number 5 is like, we've not heard anything official yet.
Yeah, I don't think this is either good or bad news. I think this is just people are speaking too soon, and it's not.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident it will get renewed.
I think it will be. I feel like I've seen a lot of advertising for it. I feel like I've seen, because here's the funny thing. Here's a little interesting thing. So we know Netflix appreciates social media chatter, right? They like their shows to be talked about. So here's the thing. Whenever I'm posting a new video on the Mail Fuzz, at mailed_fuzz or Twitter, right? And I'm always obviously hashtagging it for whatever the show is. On TweetDeck, it'll auto-predict anything that's currently being used a lot, right? Normally, by the time I get to the last few episodes, sometimes it won't be popping up anymore. I have to type the whole thing in. Umbrella Academy's still popping up.
Yeah. So,
take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, and I'm sure there was a... Yeah, apparently it was... The stats by Screen Rant said it was streamed over 21 times more than the average title on Netflix in the US.
Yeah, I think it's a fairly late because it doesn't even look that expensive as a show, to be honest.
No, it doesn't. And these stats, assuming again that they're reasonably accurate, and compared to other shows at least, based on that, it says it's easily beating the numbers that Punisher, Stranger Things, and Daredevil had. Stranger Things,
That's interesting. I wonder if that changes with season 3.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought that was interesting.
Because I assume this is like what it did in the first week or the first whatever. Yeah. Whereas obviously, I assume more people have seen Stranger Things by now.
Yeah. It has that overtime effect, which is, the beauty of Netflix, right?
Yeah. So the idea being that there's more subscribers now for the start of this compared to when there was when Stranger Things launched either season.
Yeah, so. Pretty much. But still, the positive signs. So I would expect a renewal.
I'd expect a renewal for this. I almost feel bad. All the Netflix shows we care about typically get renewed. Now, obviously, I know Travelers got cancelled after season 3, but that was after season 3. I'm talking.
And it was one of those where, do you know what? That had a reasonable ending.
Yeah. I feel like most of the Netflix season 1s that we like tend to get renewed. I don't know if it's just because we have good taste and that translates to what everyone else is watching, or if it's just because we're lucky. I don't know. But the stuff we don't care about tends to be the stuff that gets cancelled.
So far, yeah.
So far. At least after one season, because, whatever. And, Punisher, bye-bye, I don't care.
Yeah. But, I mean, just it was a really solid season overall.
Yeah, no,
Some pacing problems in individual episodes.
Some pacing problems in individual. I'd say a good portion of individual episodes had pacing problems.
Probably about 2/3, because I think the first couple were all right, last couple were definitely all right, and then there was one in the middle that was good.
I do kind of wish that we had more than one episode of building this evil Vanya. Like,
I agree.
She's such a goddamn Terminator by the time she's leaving the mansion that I'm like, we could have maybe done this more gradually over a couple of episodes.
Spent more time with her rather than the Leonard stuff.
Yeah, like have the Leonard thing wrap up by like end of episode 6 or 7, and give her a few to really get into this.
This thing, there are definitely some pacing things I would change, but I enjoyed every episode. Absolutely, there was not an episode where I went, "Oh, I'm not enjoying this." I was always enjoying it, and there have been some shows that we've watched where we've gone, "Yeah, this is all right," and then we get to the end and it kind of does something at the end, and we're like, and we look back at the season as a whole and we go, "Do you know what? Wasn't too good." I don't feel like this isn't that negatively impacted when I get to the end. Like, like the Hazel and Cha-Cha not really coming back in are things where, okay, maybe I'd take some of that out, but it hasn't ruined my overall experience like it has in the past.
Yeah, and I feel like the show as a whole, it's not necessarily one of the best things we've reviewed on Netflix. I don't think it's up there,
no,
or even in top 5. But I think it's been a very solid thing that's come from Netflix. Yeah,
I've definitely enjoyed it. And there's there's some stuff from the comics that I hope we get to. Some more stuff with Hargreaves, for example.
I'm sure we will.
So some of the inventions that are just part of the world, like a huge part of is the televator. It's a teleporter that's an elevator. It's how he gets up and down from the moon so quickly, right?
All right. Yeah, they've never explained that in the show.
No, exactly. They don't even mention it. I'm just like, just mention the televator.
Because I've thought of that during the season. Like, how did they get back from the moon so easy? Like,
yeah, they got a televator.
Yeah.
Which is just slightly more unique than just a teleport.
It takes a fair bit of effort to get someone back down from the moon.
It does, and it's just these things that like Hargreaves and Pogo were inventing. Just things like that. It's like, let's get into more of that stuff. I like that stuff.
Yeah, I can see that. So who knows what time period they'll get spit out at next season, and where they're going to go from here. But I am deeply curious. So that's season 1 of Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So what we like to do at the end of Netflix seasons, because we have an audio feed just for Netflix reviews. So if you're on this, you like to know what's coming up soon from us. We're trying a couple of things. There's obviously a couple of things we know we're definitely going to be doing because of season 2s and so on. So this coming Friday, there's a South African show. South African show. I said South, like a cretin. South African show called Shadow. Which we're not 100% on. Like, it looks okay. We're it could go either way, but
I know literally nothing.
Yeah,
literally nothing about this one.
Carr has decided to not look it up before we watch it, just so he's surprised at whatever it is.
I only found out about this like 2 hours ago, and it was like, sure, just don't tell me at this point.
Yeah, I feel like I should be telling the audience though.
Well, I mean, go on.
So it's like a cop show, but the main cop happens to be invincible, seemingly from the trailer. So we'll see how it goes. You can bring your headphones back on there, you ginger menace.
All right, cool.
So we have that. We're going to be trying that. There is like an animated anthology show starting the following Friday, called Love, Death and Robots, which we may try, although format-wise it might not be applicable to our content, because apparently some of the episodes are as short as 5 minutes, and it's kind of hard to like cover that. And like, you know, do you do like one little thing for each 5-minute thing? Do you do them in batches? So it may not be something we actually cover. We might try the first couple and do that as a batch and see how we feel.
Kind of decide on the day.
Pretty much. We'll see if we have time. What we're definitely doing, though, that we can promise you coming after that, though, is that we finally got a date for the OA Season 2, or the OA Part 2, as they're calling it.
I'm still not convinced it's real. I know there's a trailer, but...
Yeah. March 22nd, that's coming. And then the same day as that, there's also a French original series on Netflix called Osmosis.
No, that's the week after.
Oh, is it the week after?
That's the 29th.
Oh, sorry, it's the week after Osmosis is coming. So that's a French show, which Connor has described to me as Black Mirror meets Maniac. Sounds interesting. We'll be trying that for sure.
There's a trailer, just, Netflix. Yeah. Looks interesting. And
then the week after that, we have Season 2 of Sabrina, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So you'll notice there's a lot of things stacking up back to back, not to mention the fact there's a couple of Amazon shows also overlapping.
That's every Friday for the next 5 Fridays. Netflix are giving us something. Yeah.
So I can tell you right now, we're guaranteed we're doing all of the OA and we're doing all of Sabrina, because we've already covered those shows and we know we like them. We'll be trying Osmosis, we'll be trying Shadow, and yeah, so you can look forward to those reviews. If you're on the audio feed, we do have other audio feeds. We have an Almost Cancelled TV Reviews feed, which covers other TV shows from elsewhere,
such as the aforementioned Amazon content.
Yes, Hannah Season 1's coming, the Tick Season 2 is coming, we're going to be covering those. It also goes on there as various other shows as well. So you can have a look at these various things and look forward to the content coming up. But if you want to support us and you want to keep the content coming, you can go to patreon.com/MailandFuzzTV and you can support us for as little as $1 per month, and just get a warm fuzzy feeling inside for doing so. You can also support us in other ways, of course, though, by like rating us on your podcast app. You can like and subscribe on the YouTubes. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the stuff we reviewed. Give us your opinions and thoughts. You can also buy merchandise in the links below in the description. There's a US store and a UK store, and you can get yourself a nice Mail Fuzz TV hoodie, hat, t-shirt, whatever you feel like.
There's too much choice, let's be honest.
Yeah, but that is us. That has been Umbrella Academy's finale. That has been the Season 1 of Umbrella Academy. It always feels nice to like cross off a whole Netflix show. It's like, oh, that's that season done. Like we've
accomplished.
Yes, we've completed another adventure.
There's a nice playlist on YouTube now where there's a whole season there.
Indeed. So thank you once again for watching and listening. Thanks for bearing with us as we go through at a nice steady pace. Because we have to wrap other content around it. We can't just record. If we just had this and nothing else to do, sure, we could probably record 2 a day, but and get through it that quickly. But we cannot. So thank you very much, guys, for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, and have you got any vanilla?